Alright, Bill, Mufasa Jeep. Today we are going to tackle getting power to this light bar. So I bought this for Angela a little while ago. Fasa has one. It has a small LED strip all the way down here. It's really hard to see because it's a thin little bar. I like these thin little bars. I don't like when people have those big monster, big ginormous, plus the big ones make a lot of noise and wind, turbulence noise. I like these slim ones that we could hide. We seen somebody else out at Jeep Beach, I believe it was, in the show and shine, and they had mounted theirs under here, and I was like, what a slick spot. Angela doesn't really wheel Subzero. Subzero is her good Jeep that she just kind of tools around town and keeps looking nice, so we're not afraid of this getting hit by rocks or anything like that. Mine, I have this same bar, but it's mounted up here, and she already has one up there. She ordered that herself. We hooked that up a while ago. So this is going to be a little bit different. So we have our power, we have our ground, so our positive and our negative, inline fuse, so we have to hook that up. But then this is where it gets tricky because it has the little LED light. This guy is just a little click, 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 and you could cycle it through like 7 or 5 different colors, something like that. And then this is for the bar itself to turn the beam on. So it's a little tricky because what we're gonna have to do, and what I always do, is because none of these really, no, they don't really designate. So like there's no markings on here to say black does this, blue does this, and red does this. So what I'll do is I'll look at the position of this little LED, and then I'll take a piece of paper and I'm gonna write down black, blue, red, knowing that from the LED light, this little red light here, that's what I'm gonna call top, I guess. And so we'll know when we take this off to get it through the firewall that we got, you know, these in the same series, so don't flip this around and hook it up backwards, because I don't know, it could blow the fuse, and then you gotta like, oh, what did I do wrong? And I've kind of learned these things the hard way over time, and not saying that I won't mess it up today. We'll see what happens, but that's why I like writing it down. So hopefully when I put it in, it's done, it's good, and then it's official, and we can call this project done. So this thing has a little whatever they call this. I want to call it a transformer, but it's not a transformer. It's a relay. So this already came with this relay, so we'll have to mount that to the firewall somewhere. Since I've already done one of these, I kind of already have an idea where I mounted it in Mufasa, so we'll probably go in with something very similar. So the first thing we're going to do, and I don't know, maybe I could fish this through the firewall in the same spot. So the JO and JT is kind of unlike other vehicles that I've worked on. I don't know if they were just forward thinking or it was just the way it worked out, but when we look in here, we look down in here, there's a knockout right there, and there was a black plug in this hole here. I don't know if you could see it, but down here where these wires are running right now, this is probably for her other light bar, is where we can fish stuff like this in. And if I look out, because that's a pretty big knockout, I gotta fix my band-aid here because I'm stuck on band-aid because band-aid stuck on me. I fish that down in there. Maybe I could do one of these at a time. They are pretty big, but let's try it out. If not, then I'll write this down and disconnect these guys. So let's go one at a time. It's a little tricky because there isn't much space in here, so you don't drop it like I just did. Get in there. Okay. Uh-oh. We got the first one in. We might luck out. This might not be so bad. Alright, let's see here. These big tires, it's a bit of a pain in the butt to get over here, but we're going to get it. Alright, I got both of these stuffed through the firewall. You can drop those down in. Get in there, little babies. Okay. I'm gonna make sure this isn't really gonna hang up on anything, so I'm gonna want to get more in. Okay, get in there.
Feed it in.
Okay, so I think we're far enough to where maybe we should go inside and check and see what we got. That's in there. Everything's kind of hanging, dangling, whatever. Do this, get this out of the way. So we come in here, and if I get up underneath the dash, I should be able to see where these little guys drop to. I kind of can see them. There we go, come on. Where are you at? Aha. And there we are. Ta-da! So we have these two little guys now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a tool, or maybe not. I got pretty strong nails. Maybe we can get in here and pop this out. This little access panel here. And all I really want to check, get out of there, fool. There we go. So we got, well, that didn't get me much anywhere. I can't see in here. So what I want to do is I want to make sure wherever I drill for these to be mounted, probably next to these two little guys we have here, is, look at that, they're the same. So we're going to put it this way, just the same as these. It's been a while since I did this, but I can feel back here. What I want to make sure is these newer cars, we got side impact airbags, which on this guy is built into the seat. And then we have airbags in the front, all this safety stuff that these new cars have. And I don't know that Jeep has them, but I know at one point some cars were putting in a safety curtain in here. So I just didn't want anybody, I wouldn't want to, I mean, this is just a how-to, but don't take my word for anything. I am an amateur, but I know at some point some cars had an airbag situated right in here. Probably because when you get in a front end accident, they didn't want you to like crush your legs or something like that. I don't know that this vehicle has it. I know that this right here, I can feel it. This is just straight plastic. So all the way up to about here, this is all fair game. I could mount those switches in here, but I don't want to do that because if she bumps her knees, she could be turning the switch on and off. I put it off to the side over here, which I got my fingers up in here. I could feel there's nothing. There's nothing in here. So she ain't going to get in trouble by mounting those here. And then we got space for them, and they look pretty accurate with these other ones. I want it to look somewhat stock, even though it's not stock, you know what I mean? So these are tricky because you're drilling into a dash. I mean, this thing goes 2023 with probably 8,000 miles on it. So it always sketches me out a little bit drilling a hole in a brand new car because you don't want it to look like poop when you're done. So we're going to go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do is flip this like this, and then we're going to go red, black, blue. So I think I don't know if I have to write that down. Red, blue, black. Red, blue, black. So I just have to remember red, blue, black. I'm going to go ahead and get my tool to make this little hole, and we're going to make a hole, and then I'm going to check it, and then I'll make it a little bit bigger, make it a little bigger, and there is nothing back here that I can hit. So I just want to be positive of that because I don't want to, you know what I mean? You don't want to make a mistake and end up messing up this panel. I want it to look nice when it's done because it is a newer vehicle. Let me go get my drill, and I'm going to use a unibit because it's a step bit, so it slowly goes up in size, and we're going to make a hole, and then I'm going to see if I can get those switches mounted for us real quick. So I like these little step bits. We can see that gradually goes up in size. So what I'll do is, I mean, I think we're going to be pretty close when we get to the biggest size. So what I'll do is I'll start with a little bit smaller, and I want to get it right beside this guy, but give it enough space. So what we're going to do is we're going to start real slow. And double check. There's nothing back there. There's no wires, no nothing. Because I mean, this thing does get pretty deep. Nothing back there. So now that I got that far, I just don't want to go too big. So the first thing I'm going to do is face this the same way. Red, blue, black. Yeah, that is right. I do remember these being a little tricky when I did mine, because they kind of snap in. What are you doing? Let go. Some of these you can just pull on, and some of them, I don't know. This thing like got a little key, something I could push down that's locking it in. I don't know. I don't want to just yank on it, tear up this switch, because it's obviously special to this thing. Oh, I could see it. So if you look right here, there's a little dimple. So I need to get something to push that dimple down, because when I pull, it's that little dimple right there is locking against this switch. So I'm gonna get a little something. We're gonna start on this end because we could see those dimples, and then I'll push each one, and hopefully this thing just unclicks pretty easy. We're gonna find out. Again, it is red, blue, black. Okay, I got this teeny tiny, kind of small screwdriver. I was looking for something a little bit pointier, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting. So you kind of need 3 hands for this, because I want to push this down and pull at the same time. There we go. So we got the first one. So you pull this little sheathing back. Now we're going to have to go kind of sideways in here. It's tricky because there's not much space to do this in. Get in here, fool. There we go. And last but not least, this one. You're always going to have one that fights you. Let go. What's going on here? There we go. So again, that was red, blue, black with the thing this way. So look, I'm gonna test it out. See, we got a little bit more to go. We're not in there. It's not big enough. Here. Okay. Let's go here, flip this guy around so we're not hitting stuff. Maybe a little bigger. I want this to be nice and snug. Just gonna keep going up a step and seeing how close we get. We might have to make this wider than this bit, to be honest. Okay. Oh, that is maybe a bit, yeah, that's a bit too snug. We almost got to open that up a little more. So what I'm going to do is use this bit, clearance it just a little more. think that's about perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Wipe this guy off. Now we can slide this thing back in here. So what we're going to do is feed our wires through. Here we go. Come on, get in there. Okay. Okay, so now we got this in here. We said with this like this, it's red, blue, and black. Hope that's right. Flip this over. And we got the red, blue, black. Pull our sheeting back over that so none of these can, they're in pretty close proximity to each other, so we don't want them arcing off of each other. I think they would, but you just never know. So this is tricky. So what I'm going to do with this one is, it's black and yellow. It's pretty easy. So what I'm going to do, so what I was going to do is take a Sharpie, but I can't find one of those on the quick. So the easiest thing for me to do, that ain't working. I need a Sharpie. I want to put a black line here, so when I disconnect this, I'll know which one's the black one, because we don't want to cross any wires. So I need to find a Sharpie real quick. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a black line on the side of this guy, and then I'll know, hey, this is the black, where the black line goes. So yellow on one side, we got black marks, so we won't crisscross those guys. Now what I could do is, we're going to make our second hole. Feel up in here and double check. I don't got anything up in here, so I think we're pretty good. So we're going to put that right next to this one. Triple check here. Yeah, I got, it's a little rib right there. I kind of don't want to go into that rib, so I think I'm going to move this one up here. Yeah, because that's perfectly clear up there. So this one's going to go up a little higher, because there's a rib running right here, and we don't want to get, into that rib. And that rib is right here. So if I keep it over this way some, right about there. Okay. That's a pretty good spot for it. Do the same thing. We can go ahead and release this wire here. Okay. So we know we're pretty far out still. We're gonna go ahead and get off there. And we're just gonna keep. We're getting there. It's closer. Oh, we're really close. See what this one does is we take this. So this has a little nut on the back. So we push it through, put the nut on the back, and then we crank it down. But we're gonna do just a little bit more. And we want this nice and snug, so it looks like it was made to be in there. Perfect. This can work out really well. So, the first thing, how do I want to do this? It's tricky because I got to get this nut on. Okay, I see how we're going to do it. So, take this nut off of here because you got to put that on the back side of this thing. So we got our little gasket. Stay there, little gasket. What we want to do here is put this on the back side of here because I want to fish these wires up. But if I were to do it, if I wouldn't put that thing there, what would happen is we'd end up not being able to get it. Get in there. Because once we make this connection, if we just made this connection and left that nut off, there's no way to get the nut on because it has to go before the wires. So I want to make sure I put that on first. Let's flip this around. We already know black with black. I'm going to make here. I want to make sure. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and run this screw all the way out. I want to make sure we make a good connection in here so we get this fished in there. And you got to kind of hold this and we're going to make this connection. Get in there, little baby. These are the tiniest little screws ever. Okay. Crank them on, pull on a little bit. Okay, we know we're in there. Good. Now we're going to get this side. So, same thing, I'm going to run the screw almost all the way out. Not all the way out because then it'll fall and it's tiny, and then I'll have to send out a whole search and rescue team to find that little thing. We're going to make sure, like, because these are pretty close to each other, and I've seen people wire things before where they leave one strand out. Well, that could be an issue if we leave one strand out and it comes over and crosses this pole. So I want to make sure all the strands are in there and then all of them land. You can see how one keeps spreading out. So I'm trying to tuck them all down in this one little hole. Get that stuck in there like that, real good. Then we're just going to repeat the process. We're going to crank this bad boy down. I'm going to crank down real good. Okay, there we go. That's on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these out of the dash just in case I messed up on. Hey, look at that boot. It slid up on its own. Don't do that, boot. Stay down where you're supposed to be. Come on. Silly. It's like talking. Get this boot over this thing. Okay. Moving on. So we got that hooked up. We got those wires out. I want to leave them out because I want to test this before I go ahead and button everything up. Because if I miswired something in there, what'll happen is I'll go to wire it up, we'll go to turn it on, and then all of a sudden there's an issue. We got to pry these things back out of the dash. I want to put them in the dash once and be done with it. So next up is we know we got enough length in there so we could land this guy wherever we want, but we know we don't want the hood to come down and crush it. So we don't want it to rub anything. So I'm gonna figure out a good place to put this, and then maybe we'll get this thing connected up. For some reason I think I remember putting mine up here somewhere. Maybe. hole's not big enough on that. That's a little sketchy. Let me get my ladder. Can't see in here, I'm short. Okay. Here we go. Well, I mean, we could see that this guy fits right there. We got enough space to run this right there. That looks like it will almost go around there. I might have to make this hole a little bigger, but I think this is a good spot because we already see, hey, we got something else up here. And if this gets mounted all the way down here, it's just as thick as that, and it's gonna work. Or, shoot, we could put it right there. Probably. All right. I'm guessing, but I think that's probably a 10. Let's check it out. I think the 10 just stays on the ratchet because that's what we're using all the time. Wrong way. There we go. Okay, it's off. Now I think I might have to open this up a little more. That hole looks a little small to me. Yep. Well, I think we already got the tool out to do that with. We'll see. You got to be careful when drilling through metal, stuff like this, because this has got enough torque where this thing will whip around, especially if it's like a metal plate. Whip around and cut you, so you don't want to do that. So there we go. Just open it up a little bit more, make sure that's good and plugged in. And then we can mount this. I mean, I really think we have enough clearance here to pull this off. We're gonna find out though. Oh, maybe not. This washer is too big and it's hitting. So let's put this one back. We're gonna take this one out because it's got a smaller washer. I guess it's gonna have to go here. Enough to work in. Okay, come on. Alright, so I just want to make sure we're not pinching any wires when we do this with anything that I've previously mounted in here. Which you shouldn't. There we go, that one's going to fit quite a bit better. tight. That's tight enough. And this you can't mess this up because it's got one running this way and then 3 running around, and we look at the plug, it's going to match up no matter what. It's nice and tight in there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this guy plugged back in. So, and we'll zip all this up when we're done. So now this guy is the only one I'm worried about. This has to reach all the way over to the battery. So we're going to flip it underneath. I'm trying to make this as neat as possible too. So there might be some changes here because we don't want it guitar string tight. And I don't know. It looks like it's going to reach. So I want to hook this up temporarily just to see. Not hook it up temporarily. I want to hook it up, but then we'll clean up the wiring after with a bunch of zip ties and stuff because obviously. So it's gonna need. Move our ladder to this side. Yeah, we're good. All right, I'm gonna double check my wiring before I go ahead and hook these guys up. I'm gonna go back in the video and just make sure that I connected that switch in there right. It's better to triple check, quadruple check yourself. It's better than blowing a fuse or kind of butting your head and having to figure out what you might have done wrong. So as long as we got it on video, I can go back in the video and I'm gonna check it all out, make sure that it's wired correctly, and then I'm gonna make this connection, and then we're gonna bring you back, and then I'll show you how we finish this whole thing up.